My cup is all the way over there, and my dog's in the room, but you can't see either of them, so they're not going to be the focus of this video. We have something else going on here, and it's a bit of a personal rant to fill up time, because I found something on Instagram, and me not happy. Me very not happy. From apparently what might be going on is that Boston may be holding a straight pride parade. And as part of the LGBTQ community, and still attached to both straight and not straight people and whatnot, we are not happy campers at the moment. And I'm going to read to you an excerpt from a person known as James Feld, the post that I saw that actually got me up to date with this and whatnot. So, from James Feld, it's official, Boston is going to have a straight pride parade. I'm straight. I like being straight. A big reason why I like being straight is that I've never once experienced bigotry for my sexuality. I didn't have to fight for my right to marry the person of my choosing. I didn't have to concern myself with being beaten or killed because others don't accept who I want to sleep with. I'm messing with my... I didn't have to stay closeted out of fear or worry of the reaction of my family, friends, or colleagues by coming out. I've never gotten called a slur for being straight. No one told me I'm going to burn in hell for being straight. There aren't any programs where I could be sent to be tortured into no longer being straight. There aren't any countries where you can be put to the death penalty simply for being straight. There is nothing I've ever had to fight for or struggle against because I'm straight, and therefore there isn't any reason to take pride in it. Am I grateful for the privileges I get? Sure, but pride, I don't see it. What I do see is that... Phone, stop making noise! What I do see is that this is a parade, that this parade in this name, this is not a straight pride parade. It should be called I'm a homophobic piece of shit parade. And I can't blur that out, so... You get demonetized, I don't care, because I'm not making money off of YouTube. I make it off of art for different reasons. But, I agree with what has been said 100%. And I was going to work on this, but I am at the moment recording too much, and I need to focus on this, or I'm going to lose what I'm saying. I'm just going to ramble on without knowing what I'm talking about. But the reason that even straight people understand that they don't need a fucking Pride Day is because of one simple thing. As they explained, there is nothing for you to be prideful for. You can be grateful for who you are and be happy with what your sexuality and gender is and sex is, sure. But you've never had to experience anything like the LGBTQ community has. You never once had to go and deal with people beating the shit out of you or trying to kill you, all because, oh, you're gay, or oh, you're agender, or you've never had to deal with people who don't, like, who accept but don't really accept you. Like, I don't mean to point this out because I know that my mom's going to see, but I do realize that mom doesn't fully respect that I go by they, them, and I like to be called by things that are similar to they, them, because as of recently, I've started having issues with, like, kind of my boobs and whatnot. It's not a huge issue with my boobs, but, like, it's still an issue, and I don't fully like being called a she, her, or a daughter, or things that relate to being female, because I'm realizing now that I fall a lot more into non-binary / gender than I ever did before. And even when I'm not dressing not androgynously, I still dress masculinely, and I don't really keep feminine things near me and whatnot. I've only recently gotten into makeup and wearing much more feminine things and whatnot. And, like, she accepts me, and that's great. But she doesn't always keep up with it. Kaz is also has an issue with it, but he's trying, and I've told them that I have had issues with being called a she, her, and whatnot, but he's trying, and I know they're all trying, and they're still used to calling me their daughter, or their girlfriend, or something like that. There aren't really other terms for things like girlfriend and whatnot. But for people like that, for straight people and whatnot, they've never had to deal with people like that. And even the issues that straight people face, like being told, oh, I can't wait to have grandkids, or, oh, I can't wait for you to get married, or other junk like that. And when it's still an issue that the LGBTQ community also has to face, just in a greater scale, because they themselves, I'm creaking the chair, I'm doing that out of just trying to rock, but they do that simply, messing up my words, I'm getting too ahead of myself, but, like, straight people just do have to deal with annoying people asking, oh, when are you gonna have kids? Oh, when are you gonna go find a job? Oh, when are you gonna go and marry? Or something like that. But for asexual people, they also have to deal. Like, for asexual and the rest of the LGBTQ, I'm saying them as two separate things because I know that some people are going to be mad that I would include asexuals because it's like, it's LGBT, not LGBTQ. That was a weak-ass snap, but I don't care. But, like, do you ever just have your brain stop working during the middle of a sentence? I'm trying to think what I was going to say. But, like, they have to deal with that, except typically the consequence for saying, I'm gay, or, I'm asexual, or, I have a preference for sexual contact only when a close bond is made, which still falls on the asexual spectrum and whatnot. Being told that, it's basically outing yourself to people who may not know, and therefore you lose any and all respect they might have had for you in some cases, or you deal with people like my boyfriend and others and whatnot that just aren't, like, they don't understand it, and they're trying to, but they aren't fully there yet. And it can be an issue still because it just makes things awkward because it's like, one person's like, I don't fully get this and I don't know what to say, and then, well, there's you that, my computer was going on, and then there's just you thinking like, great, I outed myself and this person doesn't seem comfortable with that, and whatnot. And just as a whole, LGBTQ, like, a lot of things that typically are considered straight, like, I know that straight population can be multicolored and whatnot, but especially, I can imagine with this situation, it's going to be mostly straight white people. And I know this is going to sound weird, but especially on that case, they don't really need pride for anything. Most straight people don't need pride for many things, unless they're, like, colored, or of a different race and ethnicity, or something like that. Because those actual people have most of their history silenced. That's why we have things like Black History Month and Latina and Hispanic History Month, or whatever it's called. I know there's a Spanish one and whatnot, but that's why we have things like that. Because these people were taken over mostly by us, and had their history wiped clean for the most part until we found it again years later when we realized, oh wait, we done fucked up. And that's kind of like the reason why pride things, like white pride doesn't exist, or stuff like that. Or male pride, like how we don't have, like, is there a woman month? I think there's, like, some women-based month where we, like, celebrate all the great women that the U.S. has had, but, like, we don't always have pride because, in a lot of cases, pride as itself naturally is a sin, because it means you overindulge in feeling good in yourself and whatnot. And that's why we don't have it as much. When we do have it, it's for good reasons, because these people didn't have a voice. These people were silenced. These people were straight up killed because, oh, they were different for some reason or another. And it's kind of the reason why I'm making this video. No straight person should say that they need a pride thing, because their pride is every single day they get to live normally. And where they get to live being able to say, I'm straight, and don't end up feeling any consequences for it, and whatnot. And I can understand why some people think, like, oh, gays don't need it either then. Some of the gays are just mean. And that's because you're dealing with gays who are not probably the smartest and are also probably the same people who think it's just LGBT and don't realize that the whole entire media and kind of society as a general says LGBTQ nowadays. Heck, on social media, that's a big area where it's called LGBTQ. And they're also probably the people who may or may not agree with pedophilia being something of the LGBTQ, which it most definitely isn't. But this video is 10 minutes long already, I'm surprised. But, I guess that's what I have to say on that. Because I want this to be a sort of long video that I know people are probably not going to watch the whole way through, I guess we'll talk about the pedophilia thing. That's another issue the LGBTQ has had quite a bit with. Some people have been making actual flyers, adding the P and saying, the P isn't for pansexual, it's for pedophilics, and whatnot, which is entirely wrong. If you think that pedophilia should be part of the LGBTQ, you don't understand what the LGBTQ is about. The LGBTQ, as a whole, is about liking people for other genders, or being of an entirely different gender, and whatnot. And some role is sex and whatnot. Pedophilia, or being into children in any way, shape, or form, well, being into people that are typically younger than you, because that's what pedophilia is about, being into children and whatnot, is a crime, because these children are typically too young to give consent, and whatnot. Pedophilia is based primarily on age, and that's something that the LGBTQ and any sort of, like, sexuality like that doesn't deal with. They deal with gender. They don't deal with race. They don't deal with colors of skin. They don't deal with ethnicity. They don't deal with age. And that's a big fact that you should realize. Age does not matter. If it does matter, typically it means that these people are around our age, if not older, and whatnot. I mean, even for myself, as a panromantic demisexual, the only thing that age plays a role in is if they are a year younger than me, my age, or a year older than me, maybe 2 years older than me. That's it. And, like, as a general note thing, I saw this online one time, and I kind of stick by it. The best way to find how young you can date is to take your age, divide it by 2, and then add, I think it was at 8 or 7 to it. And I remember with mine, that since I'm almost 18, yeah, you add 7 to it. Never mind, I remember. Take mine, for example. I'm almost 18. Divide 18 by 2, you get 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. So the very youngest I could date, with it being fairly normal and whatnot, not seeming too weird, is 16 years old. And typically, with an equation like that, you end up with someone about 2 years younger than you and whatnot. And that's where you should keep it. Keep it to people that are either 2 years older or 2 years younger than you. 3, maybe a bit more on the older side. 4, maybe a bit on the older side. But if it's like a maybe 5 to 7 year age gap and whatnot, you might want to stray away. And it's been a big thing that plays with the issue that I've had on my Instagram, where people keep on trying to break me and catch up, and it sucks. And I'm gonna go into that because I have the ability to, and yet again, I want this to be a long video because I probably won't be making another video until another controversy comes up, because why not? But, as you just heard, I've had to deal with guys, and I call them fuckboys because they are fuckboys. And I think like 2, maybe a few more, are older than me. They try to be like, damn honey, you fine. And even one of them, the first one, was like, you need a sugar daddy. I'm like, fuck no. I have my own money that I'm going to be using for college, and I have plans to make my own money whichever way I can. And when I don't need your shit. And but they're like, your boyfriend is nothing but a, you good? She sneezed and coughed up a little bit of snot. But, like, your boyfriend is a pussy-ass bitch, and shit like that. And I think one used, like, the slang term N-word, but I'm calling it a slang term N-word because I'm not actually going to say the word. It sounds too much like the actual derogatory term, which, in both cases, I still find to both be derogatory terms because they're still used as derogatory terms, and no white person should say that. No person of any race should say that, but that's an entirely different story for another day. But basically, they were saying that and whatnot, and a few of them texted me and were like, you should break up with him. And, like, I think with about 3 out of the 4 that have done this to me, if not 2 out of 4, so at least half, if not 75% of them, have said, yeah, you're mine, when I've clearly stated multiple times that they are not mine. I'm not your property. If anyone tries to woo you over, and Kaz has also had this issue, but if anyone tries to woo you over and say, you're mine, and whatnot, they're basically relating to you as property at that point, and whatnot. And if they already don't listen to you, don't deal with them. Block them, whatnot. Block them if you have to. And if they keep coming back, you do it again. Because, no, you should not date any person who says that you are their property. Even if they don't mean it in that way, they still unintentionally say that you are theirs. Without any consent, that they are yours. Like, you are theirs, but not the other way around. And it's insulting because, yet again, it sounds like they're talking about you as if you were property, as if you were their plaything, as if you were their damn toy, which no human is. You are meant as a human and whatnot. And for all humans out there and whatnot, of any age and whatnot, going into relationships, you are not a plaything. You are not someone's thing. You are not someone's toy. You are not someone's object. You're not someone's property. And if they act like that, block them immediately and don't speak to them ever again. So, we're at 16 minutes. Shoot. I might, I guess I'm going to link down my PayPal and my Instagram below, because, as I said, I was going to do a Pride Adopt, which I need to get out before the day is done, because I have to keep up with the schedule, but I'm going to link those down below, because they are going on sale. Well, not on sale, but I'm selling them and whatnot. And if you feel like you want one or they look interesting to you, you can buy one. Some of them are in sets and whatnot. And the rule is that depending on which one or which ones you get and whatnot, I will draw digital copies of them, though that might take a while and whatnot. It depends on which unit of thing I decide to use and whatnot. For now, it's going to be MS Paint on my computer, which will take a bit if I run out of steam and whatnot. But, yeah, that was a fun rant. I hope my page doesn't actually become a rant page. That would be very weird, and I would have so many people screaming at me in the comments. But if that happens, that happens.